An update on how our dahlias are getting on. I've today finished planting up nearly all the outside dahlias that we are using these two outside beds for. There's 100 dahlias altogether in these two beds. They're both 10 meters long by 1.5 meters wide. Just a few stragglers left to go in there. These are the ones I put in today. In this first bed we've got the preference dahlias, which were bought in as dahlia clumps. So the first 20 or 30 or so there are the preference. That's these, which were dahlia clumps. We haven't done any stopping on these. We've just, as in the previous video, we've made sure there are no more than 7 shoots on each of the plants. These from here on are either single tubers or else they are cuttings. These ones here are single tubers, and from here on all of these are pot dahlia cuttings, and we've got about 70 of those altogether. This is my little friend here, Robin, who accompanies me throughout the day. He just clears a few of the earthworms away for me. I've also planted some up in the new Polytunnel, so this is no dig method, as we've shown on a previous video, just straight into the ground, having prepped with cardboard followed by some form of mulch. And then straight into what was meadow like this only a month ago. This first lot are cafe au lait, which are tuber clumps which we bought in, as were these, which are ambition. We've actually got some buds on there, so it's not too long before we get some flowers. And then we've got a few stragglers on the beds that haven't yet been prepared. I'm hoping to get these in this week. Really I have to, because I've spent too long in those pots now. This is the new Polytunnel. As yet fairly pristine. This is the scope of our single bed preparation. So there's the cardboard straight onto the, well, we've had to fill in here some of the meadow because we had to raise it slightly, so we moved some soil onto there. But otherwise this cardboard just goes straight onto the previous meadow, and then we've put compost and such like on top. Some weeds showing through there, but we don't mind too much because we are going to cover this area with plastic. We're not covering the dahlias with plastic, we're going to mulch in a different way. Some sweet peas here, which are actually giving us some flowers. Early days yet, but we are picking. And here we are in the smaller Polytunnel. There's a few stragglers left over here, 2s and 3s, which I'll plant out in the bottom of the bed that we've just looked at there. So altogether I think we've got 180 dahlias to plant or being planted. There's the last of the cuttings, dahlias. You can see where we've stopped the growing shoot there. This one's not yet stopped, hasn't got to 4 leaves. When we've got 4 sets of leaves, I'll stop that. Another one not stopped. So these are the stragglers really, these are the ones which are behind the others for some reason. So in fact they've not been stopped. But they will do quite soon, and then they'll go in the ground. You can see the different growth habits of the 2 different sorts of dahlias that we've planted. These are the multi-tuber plants, and you can see we've got a number of shoots coming there. I'll just take that one out and that one, rather small. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shoots, 7 shoots. We're allowing 7 shoots on that particular plant. This one here, 2, 3 nice shoots there on that one. You can see 1, 2, 3, and that's okay. There's 3 on that one. So we've limited the number of shoots we're allowing to develop. Up to 7 is common practice, I think. And a different situation altogether with these, because these are single shoots. Now they can either be single tubers, which we planted, or else they can be cuttings, and in both cases we've got a single shoot emanating from the ground. And a different situation because here we've stopped this plant. We've pinched the growing shoot, which stimulates growth of the axillary shoots below it, and you can just see on this one those 2 shoots there which are beginning to grow up now. There's 2 shoots, and below it there's some more shoots. So that pinching out is doing its job. There's a few left to pinch out actually. This is quite young, so we've not pinched that out yet. Give it a little time. You just wander around having a look at your plants, and if one is in need of pinching, you can recognise that. Here's an example of one of the problems. So a slug has got in there and typically eats the centre of the leaf. Slugs and snails can be a big problem. It's not too bad for us this season so far. This leaf's had it. It's not too bad. I do come out every evening and have a look, remove any that's there, but it's more to see whether we're having an infestation or not of slugs, and if so then slugs and snails, and if so then we'll think about what steps to take to limit the damage. So we've grown these in pots up to this point, and we've now either stopped them or reduced the number of shoots depending on whether they are single shoot, i.e. cuttings, or single dahlia tubers, or they're dahlia clumps, and we've got them all into the ground. So it's what next, and I've already fertilised them, and we are using the Lakeland Gold mulch, which we've talked about before, so and seaweed meal, both of which will provide some food. And these beds were actually prepared at the end of last year from meadow using the no-dig method, and we put various sorts of mulch on. Some well-rotted horse manure, and then some of our own compost, and some beds we just had the Lakeland Gold. There's plenty of earthworms in there, and I'm fairly happy with the condition of the soil. There is a bit of a problem in that the ground's very stony, and I think in the past it's been a a sort of building area, because once the spade goes down about 10-12 inches it starts to hit some stone, which I hope that's deep enough for these dahlias to be okay. I was going to plant out the sunflowers into this other bed here, but because of the problem with the subsoil being stony, I think I best avoid that, because sunflowers have a deep taproot and I think they'll get into trouble. So I'll probably put some testers out there and see whether they grow nicely in the season or not. So the decision is to what next, and I'll do another video, because what I am intending to do is to mulch these with lawn clippings. We've got a big meadow over there which we are mowing, and you can see there's already a heap of mowings there. So we'll use that stuff to mulch the beds, mulch the dahlia beds with, and I'm hoping that keeps. Well, there's some further organic conditioning which will come from that mulch, and also will protect so that we don't have to do too much in the way of weeding, and also will conserve water. So these are all the things that mulches do to help the soil in those ways. All sorts of different mulches. I was going to try wool this year, because there's been some good reports on the use of wool, sheep's wool, but two things I don't like about it. One is it looks a bit stupid, white wool on the ground, although it is available in pellet form, but I think that's sort of cheating. So I was going to get some black sheep's wool to see whether I could live with that, but it's proving difficult to get just at the moment, and anyway I've sort of turned against it, because I've made my mind up that I'm going to use the grass cuttings over here. So these are the grass cuttings, and from here onwards that's straw which we use to cover the beds over winter, and some of that remaining could use that as well, although I like the idea of using the lawn clippings, because there's a continuous supply, and if that works then Bob's your uncle. So I'll do another video when we've got this straw down, and we'll also talk about control of slugs and such like at that time. So thanks for watching this quick update, and hopefully I'll see you soon.